Our next fly in the series is the wiggle worm, and again I put the tubing into the tube fly tool. We have the thread base started in front of the tubing, but this time we're not going to actually wrap onto the tubing. The tubing is going to assist in flaring the collar, and we're going to first wrap in a purple rooster saddle hack, which I've gone ahead and prepped, and it's just like we've tied in some of the other previous flies. We're going to make 3 or 4 turns, and I really like this webby material. As you wrap forward, pull everything back, and this is what makes this fly so effective. 4 turns is going to be all we need in the hackling here. And we'll tie this down, and I'm going to wet my fingers, pull all this back, and wrap a thread base over the top of the hackle fibers, and this will cause the fibers to flare back. Because this is double locked, we can pop that out of place. And again, we're going to be using another set of dumbbell eyes. I'm going to bring my pliers in and show you how I just kind of flatten that a little bit, and then flatten it a little more, and then I follow the contour shape of the pliers, which are round, and that's going to lay nice right over the top here, lay in the dumbbell eyes. And this is again another bottom bouncing type pattern. Depending on the trailing hook, the tailing material, it can look like so many different aquatic insects. It can look like a terrestrial worm. It could look like a leech. Now I'm going to use some of the excess marabou fibers that were at the base of that hen saddle, and I'm going to use that as dubbing. And some of you folks may have never done that before. And let me bring the feather back into place. I use the lower half of the feather in for the collar, and then this extra marabou that's on the side is what's going to be used as my dubbing material. And it works really well because we just need to cover up the threads here to finish off the head. You can see how I have a nice uniform color. And we'll come in with our whip finish. And again, this is another simple convertible tube fly that can effectively fish shallow, deep water, but this is a bottom bouncing pattern. And then we'll take the head out of the tube fly tool. We'll make that quick cut right there. We'll grab our butane lighter and just slowly roll that plastic tubing back. We come in with our bodkin. Again, this is just repetitive steps, and there you have the wiggle worm head. Now let's go tie the 2 trailing hooks and show you the versatility of this pattern. Okay, we're going to tie the first trailing hook for the wiggle worm, and I have a new hook style in the vise. This is Mustad's new signature series. It's a C67S and a number 6 hook, and this hook is great for these wiggle worm patterns. And I have my thread base wrapped back towards the barb of the hook. Now we're just going to move our thread back to the halfway point of the shank, and the material I'm going to be tying in is called Ultra Braid. It's a 3-ply vernal, large vernal, that's braided, and then you take your butane lighter and you just lightly singe the end, and you pull back, and it's going to create a very unique worm tail on this fly. And you'll see when we put the head on it, the wiggle worm pattern. This is the traditional wiggle worm pattern that we're tying right now. And we're going to wrap the Ultra Braid in at that halfway point. And then right here, we're going to use a little bit of Hair's Blend dubbing in black just to dress up the front half of this trailing hook. I'll add a little more dubbing up in the front, and again you can see how quick and easy this trailing hook is to accomplish. And this Ultra Braid is manufactured in over 12 colors. Blacks, purples, dark olives, browns, chartreuses. Those are some of the real key colors to multiple fisheries, bass, pike, salmon, steelhead. But let me go ahead and bring the head into position, and we'll show you the traditional wiggle worm, which is just absolutely fantastic for steelhead and smallmouth bass, this particular pattern.